Hit this bug. Just gone live. I just got to change the name of the stream. Do you know that bug where it's like failed to update or log in or something? You seen that?
Is it are you doing it with like OBS or like Streamlabs or
Uh, Streamlabs is OBS, isn't it? Streamlabs.
I think Streamlabs you can like integrate into, unless I'm crazy. Yeah, it
Yeah.
has an integration into OBS, but they're like technically different. But you launch with Streamlabs, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Since I never messed with YouTube much, I didn't really start using Streamlabs. I like plugged in the add-on and just like left it. So I don't actually know. Did you see the season 1 highlights vid from Krizak today?
No.
Dude, it's so fun. He like just took a bunch of like the best moments from season 1 and just like lumped it all together into like a montage. It's like 45 minutes, but it's hilarious.
I'll have to check it out. I'll get you to send me a link after.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. I just put some links out. See if any. Okie dokie. Let's get into it. First off,
Hell yeah.
thanks, memories, for being here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Are we live? Are we live on your YouTube? Am I crazy?
On Twitch. I'm going to upload it to YouTube
Twitch.
after.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, most people prefer to watch on Twitch, so I thought I'd start doing it like this and then just convert it over to YouTube for anyone who missed out later on.
Yeah. Can you send me over your Twitch?
Yeah,
I
I
think I
linked
have
it in the
that.
VIP chat and the general
Okay.
chat.
Huge.
Let me know when you got it and we'll kick off.
Absolutely. Let me see here. Mute. And then, do you mind if we can even share chat if you want or anything? I can pop up mine, get some people that have been waiting, get them all in here.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man. That's absolutely fine. More the
Thank you,
merrier.
sir. Dude, I'm so hyped that you got a Twitch going now. This is perfect.
Yeah, a lot of people were requesting that for my dual tournaments and stuff. I'd give the people what they want.
Yes, sir. All right, let me finish setting mine and then I'm good.
Getting some love from Yak already.
Am I? What up, Yak? Dude, I know. I know he misses me. I know he's sad.
Get off in just a moment, guys. Memory's just getting something sorted on his end.
Yeah, sorry. I'm almost good. Let me see if I still know how to do this. Where do I... Why can't I... I'm trying to merge stuff.
You're asking the wrong bloke.
No, 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 no. Just trust. Just trust. All right. Tell me if that comes your way.
What am I looking for exactly?
Invite to share chat on Twitch.
Oh, is this on Discord?
No, it should be in your browser. Let me say. I swear I just did it, but maybe not. Action already taken. The host or another mod just before. It says I already did it.
Where would I see
Are
this?
you shoot. Do you have Google Chrome open or what do you have for browser?
Don't laugh, but Bing.
No, that's fine. You're fair. Shoot. It probably won't work. I don't know what it works with, but it's only certain ones.
Ah, righto. Oh, well, you
Don't
can
worry
just
about
keep
me.
an eye on your chat then. See
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah. I'll
worth
I'll
bringing
pop it
up?
up on my other screen and we're chilling.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, man. Sorry about that, but yeah,
Nah,
good when
no
you on.
worries. Alrighty, well, I like to always start just getting to know the guests a little bit. I normally start with what their gaming history. So, yeah, what were you doing before you found Legacy?
Yeah. I think most recently I came over from Dark and Darker. Here, let me grab some water in case this is a long-winded answer. But yeah, I came over from Dark and Darker. That was like my big kind of foray into the like extraction genre, right? And I think it was one of the bigger ones in the extraction genre, so it got a lot of like new folks into it. Like there was already like Hunt Showdown was out and Tarkov was out, but maybe not quite so mainstream. So that was my big like dude, I love fighting people. I love taking their loot. So like this is the best way to go about it. But before that, I played all of the classics, right? Like Overwatch, League of Legends. I was like top 500 in Overwatch. I was challenger in League of Legends. I played all those games at like some sort of kind of competitive level. But Legacy, it was the most random thing. It was like a random Twitch streamer just popped on whatever the play test was before early access. I can't remember if that was like playtest 2 or 3 or what it was exactly. Um, but they tried out Legacy and they didn't stick with it. But I was like, dude, this game looks so sick. Like it looks like open world, like almost like World of Warcraft arena, like PvP. Uh, Kevin said it really well one time, like mixed with like Smash Bros, all this other stuff. And I was hooked on it. So I started playing that playtest. Got dunked by people like Lich K. Arthas and Swanifier and all the like OGs and whatnot. But kept going at it and then came back for this season, and this season's been the big one.
Yeah, it's been an epic season. That's funny. I'm a Overwatch and League player as well myself. Wow, seems like we
Hell
played
yeah.
a lot of the same stuff. Grandmaster in Overwatch, though, I think the highest I ever got was Plat One. What role were you playing? Just
Yeah,
curious.
so no, so yeah, of course. I was playing like way back at the start and I was top 500 in like seasons 1, 2, and 3. That was when I was playing like Reinhardt and Genji and whatnot. And then I stuck around. I never really like got too far past like GM and whatnot from there on out. But literally any DPS or tank. Back when Doomfist was a DPS character,
I
I was
missed
one of those
that.
scummy.
That was good fun.
Yeah. I was one of those scummy players messing with that. So yeah, always liked that game. What did you play?
I was mainly, I'd say I got the most hours in healing. Bit of a healing Andy. If I did dabble in tanking, I was definitely Zarya main. Love it. She's
No, I love that.
Yeah, she's so broken. Even
Yeah,
still,
that's
she's
like just a good mix, right, between like DPS and tank, right? Like you are tanking, you are helping your team, but
yeah. You're
um
also melting faces.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I Played a bit of Overwatch for the first time in ages during the back end of this season when it got a bit quiet, and yeah, she's banned about 90% of games.
Yeah,
Makes
I
sense.
see why.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how you found Legacy through another streamer, was it? You said?
Yeah, Dark and Darker, just one of the big Dark and Darker streamers, just out of nowhere, was like hitting up a play test and whatnot. Um, and yeah, like I said, he didn't stick around for it, but I absolutely did.
I never played Dark and Darker, but I have to ask: I've seen many people talking about how oppressive and OP druids were. Is it true?
It is, and as I said, I was an annoying Doomfist player. I was a meta abuser in Dark and Darker as well. So I played Druid. People would rage quit pretty frequently from that kind of stuff. Sorcerer came out as well, which was like a wizard, but like casted with its hands and could like one shot people. Just absolutely busted stuff. Played that obviously.
A
So
boomkin.
yeah. Yeah, literally. Ironically, the one time I ever played Boomkin in WoW was shoot, what was it, Shadowlands or whatever? They got like the most busted like Covenant ability, and I played Boomkin. I'd never played it before, but I was like, dang, this is busted. I might as well.
Yeah, druids are fun. I played a fair bit of druid in WoW. Band.
Yeah.
Um, so you play predominantly rogue, correct?
Yeah, predominantly rogue. It's just been the class that always like kind of stuck out to me the most, right? Really liking sword rogue in particular. But I'll play anything, and I think that's one thing I didn't do quite as much this season, just because I really leaned into playing sword rogue since no one else really did, especially if you're talking like content creators and streamers, right? Sword rogue was just kind of forgotten about the season. It felt like.
Yeah, how does it feel? Because I feel like a lot of people weren't playing it just because daggers was so much easier to get results with, I suppose, or bit bit more
Yeah,
brain dead to play. So I didn't get to
I
see too much. But how did you feel about it? It felt pretty strong once you learnt it, or
Yeah, and I think there's like a couple kind of levels to that, right? I think if you just like were to pick up the class and just start playing it and you're playing against other new players, it's strong, right? Like it's a good class. You can tell what you're supposed to do very obviously. And then you reach kind of like a midpoint where like, okay, people know how to stun you. If you don't know how to not get stunned, like you're dead. You're useless. You're just a worse warrior. But then again, when you get to like the very high level where it's just straight skill expression, class balance doesn't matter too much. It's really just who has the better hands. I think Sword Rogue gets better again because it just has so much versatility. There's just a lot you can do with the class. Double jump is just really one of the most like diverse movement options. And stealth in general, just the resets, all the potential that come with it. I think it gets really strong the more you get experienced with the class.
is the double jump something unique to swords? I'm a bit ignorant when it comes to rogues.
No, you're good. So pretty much everything you think about rogue is going to apply to sword rogue as well. Double jump, the stealth mechanics, all the kind of usage and versatility with that. Um, and I think dagger rogue also thrives because of double jump, right? Like their ability to be like, okay, I'm going to start a fight. It's not going my way. Hey, here's a ledge. Let me hop up on this ledge. Like
Yeah.
see you later, sort of deal. So it's definitely not unique to Sword Rogue alone. But I think it is just, Priest has its little leap into the air. Hunter usually will often have a Cyclone to like get really high movement mechanics. Just a couple of different options for that kind of stuff, but Rogues just slots in so well.
Yeah, I'm a little adverse to. I've never been a rogue player. I think playing classic WoW, I hated rogues. I hated the people that played them. So
Yeah, I feel you there. I feel the same way about Dagger Rogue, right? Like I think they're scum most of the time. I hate the like kind of rat and wait and that sort of play style. I think Sword Rogue though especially if you were to try it in this game, and we'll see what it's like next season. But I don't even think of it as like a really roguey class. I think of it as like a very skirmish class. I think it is like a brawler,
Yeah,
and
much
we would
more
joke.
combat than rat.
Exactly. We would joke earlier in the season, like me and Kesson, when Kesson was like a nightmare on the warrior and I was a nightmare on sword rogue, is like I play more like a warrior as my sword rogue, and he plays more like a rogue as his warrior, where he just has to play so like careful and quiet and just like wait for a one shot on someone sort of deal. Whereas sword rogue, like I can get in there, I can jump around, I can like really fight people. So it's funny. I think anyone that is like turned off by Sword Rogue because it's a rogue should try the class, like for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, I certainly don't have the same sentiment about people playing sword versus dagger. Because yeah,
Yeah.
the dagger guys literally just sit back, wait for that window, poison you up, and then run in circles and wait for that next
Hmm.
window. It doesn't
Hmm.
bother me as much playing priest because I've kind of got my own cooldown windows to play around that with, so it's not as punishing. But a good rogue
Yeah.
can still abuse that. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think the matchup into priest is like actually kind of cool because you have to play around the priest windows and the priest once they understand a rogue, there's a lot of cooldowns that you can play around as well. Um, Definitely matters, if it's sword and shield or scepter or staff, but
Yes, for sure. Um, so they're got to be careful, I guess. Now we'll talk about things coming in season two. Obviously,
yeah,
we have
yeah.
a bit more information than the general populace. So if you're watching Sung, hopefully I don't say anything I shouldn't, but I'll try to be very careful. Um, the PTR, you said you got to have a chance to play it a little bit.
Yeah, I at least hopped on there, right? I wanted to see a little bit of what was going on. Just really, really exciting stuff overall. I think one of the things that is allotted by a game being tagged as early access or in play tests or whatever it may be is the devs can just get really creative with it, right? You don't have to have like a preconceived notion of how this game works and how a class works. You can change things up very heavily and just see what sticks and see what feels good and what doesn't. So I again, obviously not to dive into actual notes and changes and whatnot, but I think they made some pretty creative changes with Dagger Rogue, especially, but with Rogue overall. And they were even talking about this in the Meet the Devs about how Dagger Rogue just got so many changes. So I really like to see that kind of stuff. And obviously there's going to be more clunkiness, there's going to be more bugs, there's going to be more stuff to fix afterwards. But overall, I really like the changes that we're seeing here.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously, again, without revealing anything, do you think that some of these changes for Dagger Rogues are to address some of the people's issues about Rogue's role in team play?
Yeah, I think so because it's tough having an ability. And again, this is a little bit spoilers, but like guys, they didn't remove cheap shot, right? Like cheap shot's still in the game. They didn't like absolutely just say, hey guys, no more hard CC. But they did make some interesting changes to mobility and the role of something like cheap shot and how it can be used in team play. Because as it stands right now, it's been a really tough ability to play around. I've talked about this to a very heavy extent, especially with newer players, that cheap shot can feel so extremely oppressive. It can feel so just like make or break sort of deal. And once you have 200, 300 hours and you know the inner workings of every class, there's a lot of things you can do about that. There's a lot of ways to play around it. There's jumping after a route, there's involving the cheap shot and changes that were made earlier in the wipe. Um, but all that said, the second you go into twos and threes, Dagger feels pretty awful, right? The resilience mechanic, the stacking of stuns, the frequency which you get knocked out of your backstab and things like that. Just unless you have proper team communication, it's objectively the worst team play class in the game. because of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that alone means there needs to be some pretty harsh changes in how that class works, or that build, I should say, Dagger Rogue. Um, because as long as something is only good in solos and not good in trios, or vice versa, it's going to feel really weird in a game like this. I think there's always going to be outliers where something like a longbow maybe isn't as good in solos, but shines in team play because your teammates can peel you and protect you. But it's the difference between playing a dagger rogue in the extraction game and playing a dagger rogue in 3v3 arena is just night and day difference.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see that. I feel that definitely with Priest as well. Some of those weapons feel much nicer to play solo versus team play.
Yeah,
It is nice though
absolutely.
that they have those options there available to you. It seems like they do a good job of like balancing through the perks and weapons almost like rather
Mhm.
than overall changes to the class, giving them these different weapon types, I suppose, to fit different scenarios. Sense?
Yeah, and no, it does. And I've talked before. I'm almost interested if they would try this one day, or eventually or something. How warriors able to swap between two weapons. It allows for so much versatility in the class. It allows them to just slot into so many different engagements and options and everything like that. And it really helps in moving from like solos to trios and whatnot, right? Like the Mason Shield is very defensive. It lets you walk up to someone, and then you can swap to an axe when the timing's right. So my point of all that is, right, I almost wish they would try at some point allowing the two weapon mechanic for all classes, because that would handle so much of the like, oh, dagger feels awful as soon as I go into the situation. But maybe if you look at the classes like a bigger kind of concept, and like you always have the option between swords and daggers, it really opens up um, where you feel like you're being countered the most. Because this game can feel kind of tough sometimes when you just ram your head into a rock paper scissors situation.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and I, obviously we can't say much about it, but it's sad that it felt like it was going the opposite direction. But I'll say
Yeah,
no more.
yeah, it feels that way. But again, early access can always swap things back and forth. So I'm not even saying that that's like the right solution or right way to go for the game, but I would love if they just like really leaned into it one day and just tried it for a period. Let every
Yeah,
class have two weapons.
yeah, yeah, I'm with you there. I would like that as well. So the new prestige levels. What do you think about that?
I enjoy it. Dark and Darker again. I'm gonna go back to this often because it's kind of my staple in the extraction genre. For what I think a lot of devs can learn from, what Dark and Darker has done good and what they've done absolutely atrociously awful. Um, but they have a fame system in the game, right? Where you really only need to get to level 20 for your class, but you can go scale infinitely. And then between seasons, that fame stays. So next season, it's going to show me as a level 1 rogue with 300 fame. Sort of
Right.
deal
Yep.
where it's very arbitrary, right? I'm not just like, oh my gosh, yeah, I gained a fame level, so cool, right? It's very arbitrary, but it's still something to do and focus on, and not just feel like, okay, there's a month left in the season. I've gotten all the gear I want. What am I supposed to do now? Sort of deal, you know?
Yep. Yeah, I think using it to as well give us those stepstones and leave something like some little care packages on leveling up that might scale or something. Something
Yeah.
like that's
So
very cool.
yeah, and so to go back to Prestige in particular, right? Is I love the idea. It's something that you're just gonna keep doing all wipe. It's not gonna feel super meaningful in the moment, but it's a way to not feel quite so stagnated.
Yeah, it seems weird having it on the vendor shops too. That one did seem a little bit strange to me.
That one's almost gonna like stress me out, right?
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
where it's like
It's hard enough getting those last few levels on things, and it was like, oh god, I think I
Yeah,
might
and then you're
leave
gonna
that one alone after I max out.
yeah, just like intentionally try to leave it at 7 and not mess with that anymore.
Yeah, the quests no longer being time gated in the what are they calling it now? The Chronicle, is it? Like the main, what it
Yeah,
used to be called,
the
campaign. I
the
think that's a
Chronicle,
great
yeah.
change too. That felt really weird, like getting a cooking pot 6 weeks in. It's like who? It's I understand these. A lot of these things are kind of like catch up mechanics, maybe, but I don't, I don't like systems that are useless for some people and fantastic for others.
Yeah.
Like they're still
Uh,
going to get it when they get it anyway. But if someone wants to play a little bit more hardcore and really grind out, I don't think they should, I guess, receive less benefits from a system just because of the way they choose to play.
Yeah, I feel that, and for the people that did play all season and then just suddenly finished, the Chronicle, and what did we get? We got a an anvil. It was like the second to last reward or the
Yeah,
last reward, something like that. And it's like, okay, the anvil doesn't even transmute into like anything else. I can't use it for any other lodge upgrades. It doesn't like sell for any money. So it's like, what do I do with this thing? Whereas earlier in the season, like if I got an anvil, like, oh my gosh, that just saved me 3 extractions trying to find one sort of deal. So I think it's a really good change that just doesn't have any downsides, and just kind of goes to show how the devs are going to keep, making these micro adjustments and taking feedback from season to season.
yeah, because yeah, even with the barter system, what you got to get 9 lodge items to make a hammer, and it's 3 hammers to
Uh,
make a. So you're looking at like almost 30 green lodge items, plus all the glint you
yeah,
need to do all the transmutes to get it there. So getting that anvil early is huge.
yeah,
And
and it just felt odd at a certain point where it was like, okay, like I'm done with my chronicle and I just have to wait a week, and the reward that's going to come out a week later isn't even that exciting for me because I've just progressed so far past it already, sort of
yeah,
deal.
yeah, for sure. So I think that's great. The cosmetics. Let's have a chat about them. I'm very excited for this. I think it's beyond just prestige, like having a number. I think having something to actually work for that's visible to other players, visible to yourself, and kind of, an actual physical representation of achieving something. I think that's a great idea. How you feel
Yeah,
about cosmetics?
I'm always a fan of cosmetics as long as they don't cause like heavy visual bloat, right? I think anything to just kind of tweak the experience and um give more options to the player, let them customize in a way that they find cool. And then I think on top of that, like again, since this game draws so much from like MMORPGs and like World of Warcraft, and the devs notorious coming from that kind of area, like they're gonna make some really cool cosmetics. Like they're gonna make some weapon skins that just look like absolute legendary items, I'm sure. So it's gonna be really cool to see how it continues to go in that direction. Um, I think there's a healthy balance to be struck between FOMO and like a cool cosmetic, right? Like you don't want to feel like, oh, if I don't sweat this legacy season, I'm gonna miss a cosmetic and it's never gonna come back, sort of deal. Dark and Darker fell into an issue of that pretty often, where like the people who had reached the highest rank would get a cosmetic reward, and that cosmetic reward is never coming back. So if you don't play a season, you feel like you missed out, sort of deal. So I think as long as they're mindful of those potential pitfalls, right, and like keep ways to make it feel accessible and engaging and not create the fear of missing out. I think it has a lot of good place in this exact game.
Yeah, I think especially for the paid campaigns you can unlock, if you were to make that purchase and didn't achieve it in time and then it disappeared, that would feel really bad.
It feels that would feel awful, and that's something, I don't, especially now because I'm so hyped and focused for the next season, right? I don't want to be harping on devs if at all. But one thing that does just make me a little nervous is like, okay, we're still in early access, but we're already talking monetization for a paid game. That just makes me like worry just a little. But as long as it's done well and in a healthy manner, it can be good.
Yeah, it's not a big asking price either, which is nice.
Yeah,
I mean, six
yeah.
US
So it's
dollars. I think it's like $10 for us or something, which isn't too bad.
yeah,
I mean, you go to the pub and
very
buy a beer for $10 these days. So
yeah. No, I feel you. Yeah, as long as they again they're conscious about all the things they need to be conscious about, it's fantastic, right? Just keep good options for people to acquire them in game or acquire similar cosmetics in game, even if it's not the super premium, awesome looking ones. Yeah.
man, I'm watching your gameplay we're playing. What did you just do? Did you see that?
I don't think I saw that one. If you can you zoom it back just a moment? Dude, I do some crazy stuff on Rogue, I swear. The
This
class is
here, this
cool.
here. I'm pretty sure this. I
Let's
think you
see.
go through this wall. Sorry to take us off guard there, but I was like, what? What just happened?
Okay, so let's see. Threw a Phantom Dagger, didn't hit his bubble. It's gonna have to be a Phantom Dagger through a wall. I probably hit something.
I hope this is it. Too far.
Did I? It's gone forever, man. No, this will be it. This will be it for sure.
This is the right. Oh, oh yeah, it was a Phantom Dagger.
Yeah, you can see my hands are glowing there. So the cool part about Phantom Dagger, right, is like you can fit it through the tiniest windows. Like you can just throw it around a corner and know that it's going to hit someone because they're already walking in that direction and they're peeking there.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry to derail a bit there, but I just saw that and was like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, a Phantom Dagger is a really, really cool ability. I think no matter how strong or weak it is, I'm always gonna want to run it in team play, because I think it's one of the things that makes Rogue like so. I think Rogue has like one of the best actual like engage potentials in the extraction game,
Oh,
compared to
absolutely.
any other.
Especially with that stealth, you can just position yourself so nicely. The war banner, very cool.
Uh, yeah, I joked in the Meet the Devs that I am going to be littering the map with those things. Whatever cosmetic is associated with them, I will be buying, and I am going to take the first couple weeks of wipe to just kill as many people as possible and put war banners everywhere with my name on them.
Do you? I don't know if we know this yet, but can you have multiple down, or if you place a second one, does the first one disappear?
I do not know that. I'm sure that's something we could have like tested and really figured out, but then you'd have to, you know, get multiple people on the same map and have the war banner and kill them. So we'll probably find out, when the game comes out. But if there's a way to put more than one banner down, I'm gonna have them everywhere.
I wish I was in NA so I could find them on the map in my journeys.
Don't worry. I come to OC sometimes
Good man, good
when
man.
the player count is in need.
Are you east or west?
I am East, so it's like it's bad, but
Yeah,
I've come
why?
over for some of your guys' arenas and whatnot.
I hate that everyone's migrated to east because it was like we can 150 ping on west for us is kind of like it's doable, but you go up to about 200 on east. But everyone
Yeah,
on NA's decided east is where to play.
it's tough because like I love playing East and playing with like the people that from EU that I love playing with, and I love playing West because I love playing with a bunch of the OCE crowd as well. Um, But yeah, I mean, the end goal, right, is eventually we'll all have our own thriving big servers.
Yeah, I certainly hope
And
so.
we could just wave at each other from afar.
Yeah, OCE is great at the start of a server, but we have smaller numbers, so when those numbers start to dip, I think we just feel it a lot earlier, a lot heavier
It,
than other regions.
and I was saying there was especially a point in the wipe where OCE was carrying the player count, right? From between like the likes of you and Frangie and Spud Hunter and just like all these names that are all just trying to kind of congregate people into one place. Uh, OCE was the player count for a period there, so
Yeah, right.
I
No, that
and
is.
at least for myself, a lot of people like my mods and whatnot will attest. Like waking up early right before work and seeing Frangie streaming, I was like, oh hell yeah! Like I'm gonna watch him all day during work.
Yeah, we haven't seen Frankie in a few weeks. I don't think he's been doing anything. I'm hoping he's alive and well for season two drop.
I hope he's alive and well as well. You know,
We
I'm sure he'll be. You know, it's hard to stream a game like this towards the end of the season. It's I mean, I looked at my Twitch to open up for this podcast and I was like, dude, I haven't streamed in 9 days. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I haven't either since my last dual tournament, I think, and decided to take the last few weeks off because those numbers were dipping.
Yeah, it's it's hard to balance. But yeah, at a minimum, you know, we're gonna have some real healthy lobbies going, and there'll be people.
Yeah, I hope at least the first month feels very populated. I spent majority of season one rezzing people at the start because I didn't want to cannibalize our very low player count, but I think I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive this time around.
You gotta let them fly, you know, and just yeah, it's that it is such a tough balance to want to like actually play the game and kill people and be like, this guy is clearly new and the devs did not put good guardrails in place, so I don't want to kill him. But like I also don't want to, like, if I'm streaming the game to play the game, I don't want to just walk around rezzing people and talking, you know. I'm here to play an extraction game. I'm here to fight people. So
Yep.
it's a hard balance for sure.
Yeah, well, hopefully the farm map kind of solves a bit of that issue. If people aren't ready to lose their gear, then stay where you need to stay, I suppose.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see. I'm curious how well the transition will go. Right. I do fear that like some people are going to be like, oh my gosh, yes, PVE now, just give us more PVE content. This is all we want. Um, versus the people that are going to be like, yes, this is a good introduction to the game. I'm going to learn here, but my goal is to get out of here as quick as possible because I want to get to a map that actually has loot. Right.
Yeah, well, I think
So
as long I feel like they can um, be symbiotic with each other in the sense that, as they were talking about in that Meet the Devs today, the idea of Morthog being his own raid experience, but requiring blue gear. I mean, even if you just want to do those PvE experiences right now, getting that blue gear is going to mean stepping your feet into day, night, and crypts potentially. I mean, you can get blues in day.
but so unreliably, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that goes into a whole overarching like concept of where these devs are trying to take the game, right? Um, I think a lot of the crowd that it initially drew in and a lot of the folks that are here right now are folks that are wanting to play a competitive extraction sort of style game, but not even necessarily extraction. They want loot on the line. They want to fight players for loot. But that very clearly isn't all that Notorious sees for this game long term, right? They do have that very heavy kind of MMORPG ish um mindset for the game where it can just be so many different things and everyone can play it how they want. I think one thing is like player count has to support that kind of concept. If you're gonna split it across, people that just want to PvP and people that want to go into PvE and fight Morthog, there's just a lot of things you have to be conscious of at the same time.
Yeah, you don't want to fragment the player base until the numbers
Yeah,
can support that fragmentation, I suppose.
and it's something we've even seen this season where like Goldbrook was still living far after the extraction game mode was dying. And then there's still people hopping into Goldbrook and sitting there for hours and hours and hours and fighting people. But then a lot of the people that were here for the extraction are just like, okay, I guess I'll play arena when it's up sometimes, and then it just snowballs. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that comes down to just a lack of end game systems and things to do in the extraction maps. Because yeah, once you do get all the gear you might want and level everything up, it's kind of like what am I going into these extraction maps for? If I can just go
Yeah.
into Goldbrook, or if the team death just logging for death matches and stuff. I think that kind of becomes the loop for a lot of people after they've put a few hundred hours into the extractions.
Yeah, and that was probably one of the more frustrating parts about the season, I would say, is like I at least last season, and I don't know. Did you play all of last season? I guess I should ask. When did you start playing?
Like the first day of season 0.
Season 0 being, are we in season 0? What season? We're season 0,
That was
right?
the end of season
We're
1.
season 1.
So I've played
Okay, okay.
since they released, basically.
Okay. So you played around, you started around when I started, like roughly-ish.
Yeah.
Um but so last season, right? Like Morthog had its problems, and you especially saw that with the streamers, where like people would camp Morthog's lair and not actually go there to fight, and they would just rat and try to kill people after they killed Morthog, and they would set up stars and traps and just stupid stuff.
I
So
kind
they
of
took
miss
that
it.
away this season. I miss it, right?
Same.
So they took that away this season, and they nerfed Morthog loot, and they basically made Morthog kind of dead content. Aside from maybe once a week, you go solo it or get a group of people. Um, and then where's the end game? Like, right? Like we have Crips. Crips is supposed to be the end game, but Crips doesn't even drop that great loot. Most of the streamers are gonna farm until they get a full legendary set. Most players are not even gonna get a full legendary set. So you either burn out before you get your legendary set, or you finish your legendary set and you're like, hell no, that took way too long. I'm never running this in extraction. So goodbye season, right? Like what else do you do at that point?
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
think that's where the arena comes in. I think
Mhm.
arena should be a staple in the game, and I think it should be bring your own gear. So that's what forces people to be like, well, if I really want to get up there, I'm going to be versing people in legendary, so I'm going to need a set of my own. And it is a slog to get them.
Mhm.
Certainly no easy task. So it will force people into playing extraction for quite some time, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think a few things that go along with that is one, if we, it's really hard. The low player count is just the is what you go to for like almost any of these issues, right?
Yep.
But it's hard late in season when it's still bring your own gear. And I'm a new person that wants to play this game, and extraction is dead, and I can't go get a legendary set because it takes too long. So what do I do now, right? So then when we don't have like any sort of MMR system or rankings for arena or anything like that to segregate out the full legendary people, they wouldn't want that anyway because then they're just playing against each other because they're the only ones up there and it's a small player count, right? But overall, as we fix that issue and get more players in here and add more types of content, bring your own gear arena that launches a couple weeks after the start of a wipe with a rank system, absolute peak. That is like a perfect incentive to get into the extraction game mode, grind your gear as quick as possible, and have a competitive spot up in the arena sort of deal with cosmetic rewards, title rewards, like, whatever that kind of stuff might look like.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think that's so well said. Yeah, so you're I assume you're for an arena system at some point.
Yeah, yeah. I again, long ways to go. I think we need more dedicated arena maps. I think some sort of structuring system. Team gameplay should almost be like an arena, or sorry, round basis, right? In my opinion, at least, where it's like round one fight, and when everyone's down and dead, we go to the next round. So it's not like, oh, spawn camping. Oh, this guy just spawned and he's already fighting. Oh, he still needs to change his gear. So like, there's a lot of things that needs to be built to make that a more structured arena experience. But yeah, for not even necessarily to call it mid game, but just like side game, other area to focus on. Arena is a huge, perfect option in this kind of game. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, on that, it, I like that idea too. Do you think it would be cool, like just say you load in, queue up, and maybe you see um, sort of in a game like Overwatch, like you load in, you see the enemies on almost like a tabish style screen, you know what I mean? And you could see what you're coming up against and maybe put on the gear that you want. Like you can fill your bag up with all your legendary pieces and stuff so you can chop and change before the match begins, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is an absolute like route that they can go with it, right? Where it is saying like, hey, we're going to make this as strategic as possible. We're going to give you all of the information, and now you just need to do the best that you can with it.
Yeah.
I think that's a route to go. I also think, they don't even necessarily 100% have to go into this kind of round feature or this prep feature. They could just keep it nice and chaotic, but they just need to have something to work towards while doing it, because you're not just going to keep, always having a mass amount of players that just want to keep loading into the same game mode and just running at each other for no reward or
Yeah.
tracking or something.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
as long as they build out something, it's what we need,
Yeah, it was a bit sad at the end there where we stopped getting any sort of leaderboard for those death matches. It kind of takes away a bit of the fun for me personally. Like you said, it's just kind of
They're
like skirmishing over and over and over again. Still hella
Yeah,
fun, don't get me wrong, but just not having that board come up and getting excited for that took away a little bit.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Um, and Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see where they kind of go with it. But overall, at a minimum, I mean, it's the reason that all of us are asking for arena all the time right now. It gets everyone into the same place, and
Yeah,
that's what you need at this point in the wipe.
yeah, 100%. It does more harm to the game, I reckon, loading into an extraction at this sort of point in the game, running around in three maps and not seeing anyone. It's kind of like, ooh, this doesn't feel very good.
Yeah, and it's again, definitely it's not get so super deep into it, but it almost frustrates me. Like I almost wish we were still at a point that we were in play tests, right? Where we can just like be like, hey, this is a great sort of thing. Let's put it away for a minute and let's come back and let's have a bunch of players again. Because it's really sad to see a game like this that is legitimately such a good game, fundamentally so good, have such a low player count.
Yeah, but
It just
bewilders
is.
me too. I do not get it.
I see why some of it happens, right? We have these very, especially if you're talking the second half of the wipe, very slow patch cycles and very egregious kind of things that'll stick around for a while because it's a small dev team and it's a tight turnaround and they need to focus on season two. Like there's a lot of things that go into that. So yeah, almost a small part of me is like, I wish we just got to see a more complete product and like we just had a huge player count anytime we were seeing it, sort of deal.
Yeah, yeah. I'm hopeful though. I mean, I feel like once they get to their what do they call it? Their gold standard release,
Yeah.
and actually do some heavy marketing, I think this game could be great.
100%. So, it's all a matter of how they get there. But definitely when we're talking like release out of early access, um, it's it's going to be really, really good what this game looks like.
Yeah, I was having a discussion with Modus in the VIP chat the other day, and we both sort of agreed that I feel like over 50% or higher of the issues right now with the game is would literally be solved with population. If
Yeah.
And you don't even need that much. If every region had sort of 10 active maps that were full, so you were seeing new people every game of different skill calibers and stuff, it would feel almost like a whole new game. Sort of like those first few weeks of a season. Just feel amazing.
Yeah, I again, it's why people get so doom and gloom about games in general these days. I think people who play video games become really jaded and really self-serving. But so many people just like want games to die and see low player counts as doom and gloom. No matter what, we are on a seasonal wipe game. Tomorrow, there will be people. For the several weeks afterwards, there will be people. The lobbies will feel good, and there will be a lot of people to fight, and you will get that kind of situation you're describing where you never know what you're going to run into. You don't know the expected skill level of everyone that you fight. So it is just so almost lame playing like at this point and trying to go into an extraction map because I know if I see anyone, they're going to be a giga sweat, and I can't just like enjoy the game. I'm
Yeah.
part of the problem, but
Well, I think we all are, but I mean, what do you want us to do? We just want to play the game
exactly,
and have fun.
exactly.
It's a bit of a double-edged sword there. We're the problem, but also we're the ones playing the game. So how do you
It,
how do you manage that?
yeah, and like I was saying, I'll send you the link after. But a couple of the clips in Krizak's video, were people like getting killed by a Twitch streamer and just being like, "Dude, I'm just trying to have fun and play the game," and you're like, "Yeah, me too." Like, what do you want from me? Not to kill you? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. It's like, yeah, this is our fun. We are made to feel bad for being experienced, I suppose, and
Yeah.
putting all those hours in. It's almost like, yeah, we get a little bit of the backhand from people just for being in that situation. And it's like, well, just like you, man, I just want to play the game and have fun. But we're at different
Yep.
points of skill progression, I suppose. So,
Yeah, and it again is just one of those things that gets exacerbated by low player count. You wouldn't
yes.
see this sort of issue uh, in any other situation.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely. The So some of the new lodge items. Quickly, just talk about the sawmill because not too much to say, but I think that's great because those what do you call them, planks? What are they?
Uh, Heartwood, yeah.
Yeah, the hardwoods. They take up a lot of space. Really,
Uh,
I hated that. So having an extra place to keep them, I suppose, that isn't in your main stash, is great. Just because of the size of them, especially.
one of the best changes they did all season was where they made it so like items in your forge like automatically can be used for crafting, right? Like you don't have to pull them out, you don't have to fill up your stash with them. You can just like leave them in there and they'll be used in crafting. So I'm really excited about the sawmill first and foremost, just for that alone, right? I assume it'll work the same in concept. I'm not gonna have 8 stacks of heartwood that always sit in my stash. Most of them are just gonna sit in that lodge. And I think it's just a change that really makes a lot of sense. When I was introducing a lot of my real life friends to the game and getting them to understand it, and the crafting system and the vendor system in this game is very intricate. It's almost too complicated, I would say. But every time they'd be like, "Dude, heartwood, like where is heartwood?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's in the weaponsmith." He's like, "Why is it in the weaponsmith?" I was like, "I don't know, it's just how it is." Last season there were more that were in the weaponsmith, so
Yeah,
um but Yeah, again, right, there's not too much to talk about. It's just a good change.
And one of the boys said, at least you don't have to build your floor plan like some games of a house.
But like imagine, right? Like imagine my lodge is my lodge and I can put I can put my sawmill where I want. I don't know. I yapped about, not to go like too off the rails, but I yapped about like, well, what if they like really leaned into the MMORPG concept and like the vendors, like I'm gonna walk my physical character model to a town and through the town and I'm gonna talk to the vendors in there, right?
I
But
think that would
like
be cool for a few days, and then the travel times running back and forth, and then going, "Oh shit, I forgot this," and having to run back over somewhere. I think that just
yeah.
takes me back to WoW, running to
Yeah, it does.
the
It does.
blacksmith and the engineer trainer in Orgrimmar, and then being like, "Oh, I've left something in the bank. I'll be back in 4 minutes." You're like, ugh.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a great idea, but it's like, what if, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it could be cool if it was really small. I think that would work. Like, a
And
couple
I
of
could,
seconds between running between vendors and forges, whatever.
yeah, just being able to see people out there and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, it would be cool having a little town, I suppose. The safe. What are your thoughts on the safe?
Ah, I don't know. It's a tough one because it's like, if the safe is overpowered, it is overpowered and people are going to hate it. And if it's not overpowered, well, what was the point? Sort of deal. It's like, what do I really care about bringing into next season? Because like in my opinion, like if I can bring someone in the chat was like, during the Meet the Devs today was like, just don't add like don't allow like armor shards, right? Like legendary armor shards. Like don't allow certain crafting items like that. I'm like, okay, like people are gonna pick the next best thing. Like if they let me have 20 burial shrouds, that purple item that like upgrades a bunch of obnoxious armor and weapons from blue to purple, I'll get a stack of 20 burial shrouds over the course of the season. And I'll put those in there. So like no matter what, there's gonna be some sort of item that I think is going to feel almost scummy unless it's really constrained and really reeled in terms of what people can bring across to the next season.
Yeah, yeah, hammers, anvils, all that sort of thing, just to quickly boost
Right?
up. Yeah,
Like imagine if I brought like the most obnoxious sought after item into the next season. Like that's insane.
yeah,
But then if you like nerf it down, okay, like well at what point does it feel good and rewarding to me, but not give me such an insane leg up over the other players? Because like not even to talk about the fact that I already and you already and so many, people that are even watching a podcast like this have such a leg up over the new players at the start of next season because we know how the vendors work. We know where items spawn. We know how to level stuff quickly. So like don't give me more of an advantage. I don't need it, you know?
yeah. It does. Yeah, I know what you mean. It kind of compounds people with an advantage having a greater advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll
Like my
be
gosh, it's gonna yeah.
like you said. I suppose early access. We'll see how it feels for this season and what sort of shenanigans season three start has with people abusing this sort of stuff. I think that'll be. We won't really see the effects of it until season three, I suppose.
Yeah, and that is an interesting part, almost to even say like, hey guys, we're announcing the safe. Uh it's gonna be there, but you're not actually gonna use it for about 3 months.
Yeah,
Sort of deal.
it's kind of how they have to do it, though. I suppose you put it in
Eh,
and you don't see the
yeah,
effect of it. It's
yeah.
slow growing
You
fruit,
give
that one.
you give me a safe now, and like, yeah, everyone's gonna be rushing to put the best stuff in they possibly can.
That's, sorry, I'm just. Someone said if vendor desires would randomize a bit. What do you mean, vendor desires? I'll let you type that out while we chat about it. The map level gating. Um, there's not really much to say here because I mean, I did I did a farm map on the PTR and spent nearly the full time in there and basically hit level 4 from one run through. So I mean, if they're only capping it to from level 2 to 4, it feels like what's that? You got to do one run essentially. The maps.
Yeah, I thought that was really odd. If I remember correctly, you even said like at level 2 they unlock or something. I'm like, okay, that's literally one game, or a couple if you just start dying. So I don't know. I think it's almost not really it needs more tweaking to be implemented like that. Um,
Even if
but
they did Knight at like 5 and Crips at 10,
yeah,
so
and
it
and if
actually
I'm
had some meaning to it. You hit 10 and you're like, oh, cool. Bit of grinding involved. Nothing massive. I mean, level 10's it's no chewer. But
Yeah, and it's almost like if you were to really go this route of like saying like, okay, I want them to be prepared before they go into the high end area, like, dude, like make it 10 or 15 or 20 because like most classes aren't even a class until at least level 10. If not, like Rogue doesn't get Phantom Veil until level 18. And like that is the most integral part to using Sword Rogue is using Phantom Veil with it. So, it seems almost arbitrary to make it level 2. That just doesn't seem like a really noteworthy change. But I do understand the idea of like wanting to gate it out of new players. Um, but then it's also like how does that new player even have a full set of greens for Crips right away in the first place? Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Maybe they just put this system in to make sure that it works and then fine tune it a bit later.
yeah, that would definitely make sense. Um, but and in the concept of um locking maps behind gear. I know one like kind of hot area has always been capping what you can bring in to like Greenwood Day or capping what you can bring into Greenwood Night. And I think that would be a really good band-aid fix, but I want more than anything for the devs to like really just incentivize the experienced players to never go back to Greenwood Day because then that's sad, but not have a reason to be sitting in Greenwood Day just to try to find players and you don't care about the loot because the loot on Crypts isn't that good anyway, right? But that goes back to like end game content and what to work towards. Like I wish I had a really strong reason to go to uh Greenwood Night and Crypts. Like I wish gear was just there plentifully and I had a reason to actually be on that map.
Yeah, I don't know about caps on maps just because it it takes away that thing of like, yeah, you can go into Greenwood Day and someone's trying to be a little bit ratty in their purples and makes a mistake, and then you're like, oh, thanks for the purples.
Yeah, and that's why like when I've had this conversation before, I lean towards what you're saying is like not put a cap, just incentivize people to go to the higher tier maps. And if
Oh, I
someone
see
is
what you're
coming
saying.
to Greenwood Day, no, you're good. And if someone is coming into Greenwood Day in their purples just because like they want to be a rat, like good luck to them.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the way to do it anyway. Those moments of getting big ticket, I suppose, even for people in their greys or greens, like one mob coming in and hitting them with something or falling off a cliff or something, one little mistake, and they can find themselves in big trouble despite their purple
Oh
gear.
yeah, no, you'll find. I mean, I personally have died with good gear in like the most stupid situations sometimes. Sometimes it just happens. So if a little first 10 hours player stumbles upon my corpse and gets all the gear, like hell yeah, good for them.
Yeah, for sure. The fishing. Excited for fishing?
No. you know, it'll be cool. I think it'll be another like kind of thing for people that want all the different things. But no, personally, I want to fight people. I want I want reasons to fight people. I want to fight people. You probably won't be catching me around farm, sitting and fishing too often.
No, I think I did it once on the PTR. I was like, oh yeah, okay, that's what fishing is. Like you said, I think some
Yep.
people will love it. They're into that sort of thing. Some people it's not for, but I there's no spoilers here because as I said, I did it once. I don't think you really did it, but they talked about some potential surprises with fishing up some things that maybe aren't fish. What do you?
I think that's cool. Like I think it's a hard balance. One of the concepts in the game that kind of almost frustrates me is crypts, for example. It's really cool that a legendary shard can drop from anything. Like a legendary shard, you could open up a cabinet or a coffin and find a legendary shard because that's how crypts works. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, if I don't open up every coffin and every single tiny mob I kill, I feel like I'm missing out. So I think there's a hard balance there of being like, okay, I might really want the cool item that comes from fishing, but I don't want to sit there and fish all day.
Yeah,
So like how else can I potentially access it? The answer often becomes trading in a game like this, and we don't have a real trading system, it's been unclear if the devs want a real trading system. But like yeah, I think that's something that can be a double-edged sword, where it's so cool to like have this crazy awesome item that you randomly find out of fishing, but then it's like, hey, if I want that item, am I really going to go sit there fishing? I
yeah, yeah. It is weird the whole trading system. I've done it a little bit via the Discord, but I generally found it's just I don't know. I don't want to sit there spamming it trying to find someone, so I haven't done it
Oh
all
yeah,
that much because it is just a little bit clunky and slow to do without a in-game kind of automated
yeah.
system as it is.
Especially if you're like, you know, just trying to go from place to place and trying to play the game. You probably don't want to be sitting around and spending too much time sitting in a trade chat. And then once you have the trade, you have to go into the game, you have to drop the item, you have to trust the person. Just so much nonsense that goes into it. So I've definitely traded at different times throughout the season, but it's only when it's like, okay, this is worth the hassle
Yeah,
sort of deal.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, and that is such a like deep hole of conversation you can get into in terms of trading systems in a game like this, an auction house in a game like this. Um, but I would love to see the devs just like say what they want at some point or another. Because as it is right now, it's just kind of a weird thing that some people just go into Discord and do it, and they get an advantage out of it.
well, they made a channel in the Discord for it, so I mean that says something.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I mean, that is the legacy Discord. So if they added the trade, that's them saying in some way, shape, or form that they're cool with it. At least.
Yeah, 100%. Uh, I don't know if they talked about it much this one, but they talked about it previously, so we won't spoil anything with it. But the did you get a chance to have a look at the gargoyle?
No, I have actually not looked at the gargoyle. Is it awesome? I would imagine it is.
Um,
I would hope it is.
it's it's pretty fun. I'll be careful with my wording here.
Okay.
I went and checked him out once. I found one, as they said, they're around the castle areas. I'm not spoiling anything here. I believe that's been said. And
Yeah.
I found one up high on a castle. They He kind of flew off the edge a little bit, and I went to chase him. And as I jumped down, he did an attack that knocked me from a very high spot, and I died to fall damage. I think I've got a clip of
That's
it I might
fantastic.
have show later, but yeah, it seemed very cool. The abilities seem it's very unique. Like
Yeah.
there's not a mob that I could say it's like because yeah, I only got to see him once, so I don't really know it in depth. But yeah, he seemed interesting. I'm glad there's new
Uh,
mob types. That's always cool.
yeah, I love that, and I'd say the same about every mob that was introduced this season. All of the mobs in Crypts, all of the mobs in Night Map. I just think the direction that this company is going, and the things that they legitimately create themselves from start to finish are just so cool. So I can only imagine that the gargoyle is going to be the same way.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And also, on the Meet the Devs this morning, the what they call the Toad Folk, Frog Folk.
Yeah, the Toad folk. Yep.
That was very cool. I'm excited to see that. And they also mentioned with that they're going to be common where it's raining or raining areas, and they said some things about new maps. So whether that means there's going to be new raining maps or whether maybe rain is going to be something dynamic that comes to some of the existing maps as well. Not sure, but they have talked about weather and stuff before, haven't they?
They did, yeah. They've talked about a couple of things in that concept. And one, like roaming points of interest that only like kind of potentially show up in certain constraints, like different weather and whatnot. But just ways to kind of take what they've already created and just add a variable that can be active at certain times. I think that's one of the coolest ways to go about creation for a game like this. It's just giving ways to like get more mileage out of what they've already created. You don't need to make me a whole new map with Toad Folk. If you take Greenwood Day and suddenly it's raining and now there's Toad Folk, perfect sort
Yeah,
of deal.
yeah, I agree. I think I don't know if you've seen. I've been annoying everyone a lot with the event ideas I've had, and I made that little promo video for an event I came up with. Or if you saw that,
Say that again. Sorry.
talking about like in-game events and stuff. Been
Yeah,
hammering that home, and I made that little video for the concept event I made. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I don't think I saw that particular video, but I definitely know what you're talking about with like these in-game kind of events. Are you talking like ones potentially done by Notorious, or are you just talking
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah. I
sort
mean,
on like the concept of streamers?
no, no, no. I'm talking like the promo one I made was like the idea was this one was set in the crypts, and um, it's not something that would happen every game in my mind to keep it a little bit unique, but just say there's a random crypts event where suddenly hear like cultists chanting, and you
Yeah,
know that
yeah,
they're going to be somewhere and they're going to summon something, and um, I've come up with like 15. Been nerding out a little bit while I've been waiting for the next season, just daydreaming. But I
yeah,
like the idea of having a multitude of events for each map type, and they're randomized, so every extraction map is going to feel a little bit different. And like you said, they're even some of them being roaming, some of them being in static spots is okay too. But you hear war horns or you hear beast roar or something like that on the map, and you know that this event's active in this map, and it comes with obviously hopefully drawing people to a certain point of interest on that map, good loot. So again, it's just different. Every map's different. There's different events happening every time you load in,
yeah.
something like that.
I I think again talking about like small variables that get a lot of mileage, that is just exact proof of one of them. There's been examples of that in so many different games I played. This is a completely random one. I don't know if you ever heard of the game Spelunky, but it's like a roguelike kind of game, right? Every time you load into a level of the game, there's a chance of additional modifiers with it, right? It can be like the dead or restless or something like that, and then there's like a bunch more like zombie enemies that wouldn't normally show up. Dark and Darker did this, and they didn't do it in a great way, but they added unique mobs, unique enemies, right? where normally this could just be a goblin, but one game randomly it's going to be a special goblin, and it's going to have a unique drop table, and it's going to be harder to kill, sort of deal. So I think there's just so many ways to go with that kind of concept, and the rain is one that they very clearly talked about that they will be implementing, where you can just get so much more mileage out of the game by doing so, and you don't feel this kind of repetitiveness. You don't feel like I'm going to load into crypts and I know every single mob spawn on crypts and I know what's going to happen to that mob and I know I'm going to fight it. There's
Yes.
more intricacies, there's more potential for um unknown variables, I guess. But yeah, I am a huge fan of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, even in Daymap, talking about those frog people, you could have like the sound of a giant lightning bolt that's heard map wide, sort of thing, and then you look around the skies and you see some rain clouds somewhere, and you know that the frog folk have taken over that area of the map, and it just drives people to that spot. Those sort of
Yeah.
things, definitely. I
Or
think.
like a meteor is coming down from the sky and you can see where it crashes,
Yep.
and there's either like some sort of item or enemy or
Yeah,
change to the
that's
terrain
one
or
of my event ideas. Great
hell
thinking.
yeah. Yup.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Yeah, you see a giant meteor coming in, and you know it's going to land in 5 minutes at this point on the map, and yeah, you know there could be an enemy there, or maybe it shatters into a bunch of ores or something like that, some rare ore. So you know that there's going to be a bit of a hot spot. Just and yeah, like we said, it's different every map. So it's not like you got your route planned out and this is how I do it and this is where I'm going to go, and kind of can
Yeah,
break up that monotony of running to the same places, doing the exact same things every map. I think that's a great
absolutely.
idea.
I really I know the new player experience has just been the absolute forefront of the focus for devs, and you can see that in the season coming up, right? That's why it's so centered around farm map. That is the majority of the content we're going to be seeing, right? Um, I really am hopeful that as soon as possible we can get a more kind of renewed focus on the gameplay loop, the mid game, the end game content, the things that keep your loyal player base coming back as frequently as possible, and hopefully keep such sharp player count fall offs from happening like we've seen this season. I think that is just a again talking about what devs can do for their time to get as much mileage as possible. Any small variables, new mobs, new weapons, things that just change up the actual gameplay loop can just go so far. Whereas like a new class adds so much, right? But like that is so much effort to make a new class, like there's so much balancing that then comes with it. Same deal with maps. So anything that they can be doing to augment what we currently have, I think is just going to be so much untapped potential at the moment.
Yeah, I'm 100% for these sort of in-game events rather than new maps at this point. I think
Yeah.
rather than just adding more of the same. I mean, it's just new skins, I suppose, new area, but I'd rather see something to make the existing maps more exciting, keep people wanting to play them, and then maybe expand the map pool.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that would be just a really big kind of focus that I would love to see the devs take, is just improving on what we currently have instead of trying to create some new shiny thing.
Yeah,
Which is going to be great, but then it's like, okay, we're already a small dev team. Okay, our focus is already split. Wait, when are we going back and revisiting old classes and perks and maps and content? Like it's hard the more
yeah.
you add.
The I was in a bit of a rush this morning. Luckily, someone recorded Meet the Dev, so I didn't have to wake up at 4 a.m. again. But they did mention the new rogue weapon, didn't they?
They did, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, the shoot, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was like a sickle, and it almost like a ball and sickle, I guess would be a way to call it, where you like very clearly hold one end of it, and then the other end is man, I'm not gonna get a good description of it. I think they called it like scorpion's tail sort of
That's
deal.
right. Yeah,
I think
yeah. Kind of like a mini
yeah.
scythe.
Yeah, and you like hold on to the ball of it on one end, and it's a scythe on the other, sort of deal. Yes, Krzak's got it right. Scorpion tail. Um, yeah, I think that is going to be such a cool item, and I I foresee a lot of frustration with that item and how Rogue exists in terms of its mobility and versatility and maneuverability. If you give me a medium range weapon, I'm going to abuse the hell out of that. So
Yeah, I
um,
wonder what sort of range we're talking about here, because that could be annoying if I'm on my sword
it,
priest and I'm out
it
of
will
range
be
of
annoying.
you and you're swinging on me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. One so again, to go back to Dark and Darker here, is they gave rogues a hand crossbow, just like a very small weapon. You have to reload it. It takes a while, but it's some sort of range weapon.
Yeah.
You're not just going to be sitting up on top of a wall that only you can get on top of because you're a rogue and firing down endless ranged fire. So I hope they keep those concepts in mind with this weapon is don't make it so incentivized to just like sit and rat up somewhere and just like be like a hunter that's cycloned up to a roof and is just chilling there. Make it a truly interactive skirmish style weapon, not some pure mid-range rat gameplay,
So
which
you don't want
people
Rogue to
do.
become priest, is what you're telling me.
I do not want Rogue to become. I one of the things that how they changed the arena map to like get rid of that ledge.
Yes. Yeah.
It's worse now. Now you have a 360 view when you're up on that ledge, and oh my gosh, drives me crazy.
Yeah. I think it was. Do you remember? Is it Stunbot?
Of course, I remember Studbot.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
He got angry at me many DMs for floating up there. He'd keep resetting and going in viz and potting behind things. But then if I went up there, I was some very flavorful names.
The oh my gosh, there's an old video before I knew who Ricard was, and it was like me in an arena, and it was just me chasing him around forever, not being able to kill him. And I went into the Discord general chat and I was like, "Does anyone know who this stupid Ricard is? Like, he won't fight me, and I'm getting so annoyed." Anyway, him and I are like, obviously, tight, and I love playing with that guy. But it was funny looking back.
Yeah, Rakan's a G. He's scary hunter.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And he's just been like he has not stopped. He has been training, He's been in the arena day in and day out like Arcavian.
Yeah,
So he's gonna be terrifying at the next start of the next season.
yeah. I feel bad for you guys. You got some monsters on NA. There's far less of us on OCE. Small
Yeah,
handful.
yeah. You guys will get there in your own right. And dude, some of the people I've played with on your server playing arena, like it is crazy how good some people have gotten despite smaller player base.
Yeah, well, last time me and Echo were playing, Swanify was giving him big compliments, saying, "Oh, he hates fighting Echo because it feels almost like fighting Rakan." Echo's like my
Dude, you love to hear that.
real life mate, and yeah, he is a very scary hunter. He's no joke.
I'm excited for that. Yeah. No, I'll definitely if it's anything like this last season, at some point you guys are gonna have arenas at like 5 a.m. Eastern time, and I will be there playing on 200 some ping.
Yeah, we love to see it. The uh, new mage armor. I mean, neither of us really play too much mage. I play a little bit of it, but beyond me saying, yeah, I'm excited to see what their new armor set brings to them. Cool, but I don't know if you got much to say about that.
Yeah, I mean I'll play like I said, I play every single class, at least to some extent, just because I that's how I really like come to understand them. So any change for any class until it just becomes too much, right? Like say at some point we have 8 classes and like you have to put in 100 hours just to understand the class. Like okay, I probably won't play every class at that point. But as it stands right now, like I love Wizard. I love playing Wizard. I'm not the best Wizard. I'm far from it, but I still know the intricacies and most of the combos. So I'm excited for new content for Wizard. There was a period of the season where I was playing pretty much only Wizard for, very short period, but um, I'll play just about anything in this game. The devs kind of cook on every single thing they make.
Yeah, no, I
um,
agree. All the classes do feel nice, unique, fun, powerful in their own ways.
yeah, my only hesitancy in all of it is um these perks being so centered around just like single weapons or traits or options that a class has really makes it hard when you then introduce a new weapon or introduce a new armor or introduce like something new. Is like it's so hard to have all of those play well with each other.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like this armor set is for sword priest, this armor set is for scepter
Hmm.
priest, sort of thing. Like, there's not a lot of variability in the armor sets you pick. It's kind of defined by your weapon, I suppose. Especially with something
Yeah,
like the
and
wizard, where they're frost and fire. It's very different kind of setup.
absolutely. And like this season they introduced Warpath to Warrior, but there's no armor sets that interact with it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So then you end up in an option where like, okay, I could potentially have a build going where none of the pants matter to me. Or like, technically not because there's the execute one, but anyway.
Yeah, I think I'd still like to see some changes on the item perks, especially for priests. There's not a lot of options, viable ones anyway.
Yeah, that's what I go back to where I really, really, really want the devs. Okay, now that we have this farm map and we're gonna tweak it, but after that, before Paladin, I really want some nice love and focus on some of those things that have been lingering, like that, like priests not having half of their armor pieces working literally since the game came out.
Yeah, there's that too. um, Something I'll mention. I don't think they said in this morning's Meet the Devs, but in our one they did. It's nothing, no spoilers or anything. But if anyone's curious about the free weekend, they told us that Steam puts a cooldown of 6 months on a game after they do a free weekend. So they would like to do another free weekend, but they say they're locked out from being able to do that until late November, December. So probably something we'll see again for season 3.
Yeah, I
Bit of a
talked about that
shame.
a lot this season. Because that's what everyone goes to is like, oh my gosh, the free weekend was so good. Let's have another one. But yeah, Steam has that 6 month deal, which makes sense. I'm sure it has something to do with their business agreement with game developers and wanting to make sure a game is like paid for and used in good faith sort of deal. But
Yeah, yeah, no, I get it. It's a bit of a bummer because it did. I'm sure it did wonders for the game. The player count was massive during that weekend, and I'm sure that converted into purchases of the game without a doubt.
yeah, it almost makes me it's obviously too late, especially for this game, but my ideal model for an extraction game like this is free to play. Like having a heavy cosmetic system, battle pass system, like some way the devs still make money. And you obviously have to be able to keep cheaters in check, right? Like that is a huge wall, which I will not pretend to understand. But if you can keep those things in check and you can make the game free to play, like beautiful, because all people want in a game like this is an endless supply of players of all different skill levels to fight.
Someone had one of the OCE boys had a cool concept of maybe having the game free to play, but you can only play uh, the farm or only get
Yeah,
to level 5. You know what I mean? Like how WoW had that, you can play to level 20 free.
yeah. I love those concepts. Dark and Darker changed their model entirely when it was into playtests or something or other. People bought it, but they converted to free to play, and they made it so like, okay, you can only have one character slot out of like 10 classes, and you can only play the normal version of the game. You can't play the high roller, which our equivalent would be like Crimson Knight map.
Yeah,
They would
yeah,
just be
cool.
stuck to the new map with the lower loot and the lower enemies. Um, but yeah, I think that is just such a perfect model for a game like this,
Yeah, I agree.
where you you have a way to draw them in. They can try it out. There are This is not a genre for everyone, like at all, right? Like it is at least again talking about the extraction side of it, which clearly the devs aren't just leading towards extraction. They want to focus on PvE and a lot of different things.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I just got to run to the bathroom real quick. If you got any questions in your
Yeah,
chat or anything.
yeah. I'll take a quick bio break as well.
Back. Sorry, man.
You are good.
Well, that's most of the things for that. We'll now go into the two little fun things to chat about. The paladin
Haha.
got
Yeah.
a little bit of a reveal today. So the sword and shield and the great hammer are going to be our first two weapons, which is no surprises there from me. I was kind of expecting a two-hander and some sort of shield and one-hander.
Yeah. I was hoping, and I don't know if they've talked about it for sure. I think they have maybe, as the third weapon being like a librum, uh, which is like a super technical term to like say book, right? Like that the paladin uses to like cast spells and whatnot. Kind of like if again we're comparing to like World of Warcraft, like the two-hander weapon is the retribution paladin. It's the fighting, the DPS, the sword and shield or mace and shield or whatever it might be is the protection, the tank, and the holy paladin being the caster, right? It's still a paladin, but it uses a book, it slings spells, it heals in the case of that game, but big kind of general focus. But yeah, I can already tell that they're just gonna absolutely nail that kind of class fantasy. I think that's one of the biggest things that I can praise these devs for, is that they absolutely nail class fantasies for their game.
Yes.
The rogue feels and looks like a rogue. The warrior feels and looks like a warrior. The wizard, like same thing for all those classes. So I really like the idea that they're going behind it already. I like the early stuff that we've seen. And if there's again any devs that can absolutely nail a paladin class, it's these devs from Notorious that have folks that worked for World of Warcraft and big games where Paladin has been a central kind of concept already.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That's what in the first episode I did with Ferengi, we talked about Paladin, and the book was something we chatted about. We were hoping for an open book where the pages turn as you cast spells, kind of their own accord. He's got an open book in one hand. That would be very, very
Yeah,
cool for the third weapon. And yeah, basically
yeah,
exactly what you said, just those three archetypes. Your protection, your ret, and your holy to a degree.
yeah.
The
It feels like we're gonna follow. No, go ahead.
no, you go.
I was just gonna say it feels like we're gonna follow that kind of concept, and even the seals that they talked about for the class tool. Yeah, the class tool. I think I'm saying that right. Seem to fit with that style, and no matter what, it's going to be another class that can interact in a supportive way, which this game is desperately lacking. The only supportive class is a priest right now. Um, no other classes options to heal their teammates and buff them and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, all I was going to say is yes, start going into those class tools that really fit the class archetype and the fantasy as well. I think he mentioned this morning something about a cleanse seal, a heal seal, a damage seal, and an armor seal, which all,
Awesome stuff, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I wonder if what's going to set the paladin tool belt heal apart from the priest is right now the priest can only heal themselves with their prayer card. I guess their team heals is locked to their scepter or staff. So maybe the paladin is going to have that kind of instant big heal, which again fits the WoW archetype of a paladin. They were the tank healer with just those big bursty heals.
Hmm. Yeah. It definitely is. I think above all else you can say is it slots in really well to what this game needs. If we're talking about next class, right? Like and not to get ahead, I'm sure this is on your list and we'll get to it in a bit. Is the witch, right?
Yeah,
Of
that's
that's
coming
like
up next.
their next class that they only talked about in concept. But like this game does not need another DPS fighty style class. Like if we're talking in from the concept of team play, we definitely need another class that builds on the team play, which Paladin will absolutely do. And it will still have its own way to, be its own beast. And I'm sure it'll be absolutely busted in solos, especially on Crypt's map with tight areas. But when we're talking about team play and what that can look like, this game doesn't really have much right now. So it's nice that that's what we got coming next.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about this whole sense injustice, this honor system that the paladin might have?
I my comment in the Twitch chat is now someone doesn't even need to go to Twitch to stream snipe me or something like that. Is it's I I don't have a problem with it, but it means like it's gonna punish the better players more than anything else. It's gonna be kind of a gimmick. I think it's a really cool concept that I don't think any game has ever tried before. I can't tell you that it's gonna be a good concept, but I think it's a cool concept, and I'm excited to try it out.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's quite a big system, and it's interesting that it's going to be something just locked to the paladin, I suppose. Like
Yeah.
it certainly, I guess, incentivizes people who want to hunt down the big game on a map. It's like, well, they're probably going to be playing a paladin because it's
Yeah,
going to give them that
right?
inherent advantage. They don't have to.
When I'm like, dude, this guy is sniping, they'd be like, nah, I'm just playing Paladin. Like,
Yeah, they don't have to buy a
okay.
second monitor anymore. They can just play paladin.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like you said, it sounds like a lot of work for something that's going to be so limited to just one class and only interacted by one class.
Yeah.
So it'll, who knows if they'll change their opinion and how they want to address it in the future. Um, and it also just a little bit of it makes me nervous of like, okay, if we're giving a paladin away to see who the offenders are or whatever the term was, the evil people. If we're giving the paladin away to see that, aren't we then giving like potential like cheat engine and hackers away to like see that kind of stuff like a very clear way?
Oh, like
So
because the system's in the game, does it give people a backdoor to hijack it?
That's my fear. Kevin told me one time, I don't know for sure if this is 100% true, but like the game literally only renders within a certain distance, like anything. So there's like no way to, or there, at least in that concept, isn't a way for someone to just like load up their backdoor, look into the server and be like, yep, someone's over here on this side of the server. Like it diminishes the likelihood of like ESP and like not wall hacks, but seeing people at different parts of the map. So that's a very small thing, but it's just something that immediately comes to mind.
100
Of
meters, he just said in chat. Fog of war.
100 meters, yeah, there it is. Kevin's fucking got it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So like all of what I'm hearing with the Sense Evil just goes against some kind of major concepts. But again, I think it's a really cool concept. I it is something I want to try because I can't think of any other game or developer that's like really tapped into that in this genre.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Like you said, early access. Now's the time to test all this wacky stuff out, see how it goes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
before we dive into the witch as well, I mean the thing that concerns me a little bit is they talked about the witch being able to craft in map,
Yeah.
and you got the paladin being able to sense this stuff, and it's kind of like, is the how do you say it? Like, yeah, a good example, like League of Legends. Like at the start, all the abilities were like point and click, or you do this and you stun someone, and then the newer characters, it was like 3 paragraphs to understand their ability.
Oh my gosh,
Like
yeah.
the
I hate that
scaling,
about League, by the way. Like
this,
trying to like learn a new character.
yeah, where
Anyway.
it's you got to write an essay to understand how their abilities work. And I
Oh
just wonder whether
God.
like Witch is going to be able to craft. Paladins get this sense thing, and it's like, what do the older classes just feel a little bit lacking because they don't have these extra cool tools? They've only got the fundament, like the original template of how a character was designed. That makes sense.
I 100% know what you're talking about, and it is a huge fear of mine in this game. I mean, power creep is like probably the most apt term for it, and not
Yes.
even necessarily power, but just like complexity creep, um, where you are left with a class like say in a super hypothetical sense they don't touch any of the armor perks for priest and they don't give a dash attack or sprint attack or things like that to the staff and well I guess some of those things exist but my point is like if they keep some of these old classes like very much similar to how they were when they're first released and then 6 months later we have witch in our game or more realistically like 9 months to a year um yeah, that's going to feel really bad for anyone that's still playing those older classes and
Yeah.
it's going to feel like they suddenly don't fit into the game
Yeah.
compared to some of these newer classes so yeah that's something that I again am concerned about and it's why I want them to focus so much on what we have right now versus adding new maps, new classes, shiny, exciting things. There's so much mileage that you can get from refining what's already in the game.
Yes.
You have a lot less assets that need to be created. You have a lot less animations to be created, and you can do these more medium scale changes um, to just get crazy results. And yet, Krizak just said in my chat, Mason Shield power creep is a perfect example. The rest of Warrior pales in comparison to the Mason Shield this season because it has a evade attack that silences. It still has the shield bash. It has the power of Quake and everything that's in it. And then you go equip a Death Ball, and I'm like, wow, this Death Ball item sucks. This Mason Shield is the best weapon. Why don't I just only use Mason Shield? And the answer to that, in some people's eyes, is to only use Mason Shield, and they're not wrong. So,
Yeah, and it's got
um,
8 block pips. Ridiculous.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just my initial kind of concern is like, yes, hype. Yes, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for Paladin and then eventually for Witch. But like, I want a lot of love to what we already have in the meantime.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, man. I think I won't say anything more than this, but I'm a priest, man. Everyone knows that, and I was I was pretty underwhelmed with the love or work that priest got for this upcoming season compared to some of the other classes. To be honest,
Yeah. And it was the same last season, right? Like everyone
yeah,
came into the season being like, "Oh, we still have all these priest bugs." Like,
yeah, priest seems to kind of be the ignored stepchild a little bit in my mind. Like to see a little bit more work into them before, yeah, like you said, we get shiny new toys. Let's polish up the toys we already have a little bit more.
yeah. Priest is neglected without a doubt.
I'm glad it's not just
I
my
think
bias then.
nope, zero bias there. Very neglected. You guys got the ward ability, Heaven's Ward this season, but not a lot of like other new kind of shiny tools that they got. And still, there's just armor pieces and class tools and bugs and just a lot of things that really need another pass over.
And mirror as well. I mean, it's a cool ability, but it's not something you use all that much, and it's your only option. Like, does any other class have one spell as their option? I don't think so.
Um, no, but other classes have, like for example, like for rogue, like you're always selecting claw. It's just what type of claw, poison, hemorrhage, or infected claw. For priest, you're always selecting mirror. Oh, well no, I guess not. There was before, unless I'm crazy. There used to be you could either mirror and it would stand in place, or mirror and it would go forward.
No, no, no. That's just
Last
clicked into the
season.
same ability. It's whether you hold it
Okay.
or tap
Yep.
it.
Yep.
That's still the
Yep. I'm
same.
crazy then.
So it's just
Yep.
all just one ability. So yeah,
Yeah.
even some variables. Even if it shot out three mirrors that were half the size in a cone spread, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could
Like
just do
that.
something just to give it a little bit more flavor. Because right
Yeah.
now it's
And
like
there's
that's your ability. It'd be like if all warriors had was charge. There was no
yeah.
lead, no warpath. It was like you're playing with charge. Like it or love it.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
And then so you can either like keep with the same concept of like no matter what's in that slot, it's some sort of mirror, or you can get really out there. Whereas like Hunter, for example, can either have Cyclone, Sentinel Strike, or Bird Pet. Thematically keeps in the concept of like how swiftness is used in the hunter, but three very different abilities
Yes.
that all go on the same slot. So like the priest would not necessarily have to just be constrained to mirror on that slot. It could have another like defensive utility option that's there. But that's if they want to like really, get into how much love they're gonna give priest,
Yeah.
which is hopefully a lot.
I'd love to see. I think as well we're the only class without a movement ability, which feels really bad. It could be a good slot to give us something, a little bit of movement.
Yeah, it'd be hard. I would almost want them to get rid of Mir at that point, which I don't think people would be super sad about.
I don't think
So
so.
that you would then right, and then give three different movement options in that slot, right? Like three, just like how Warrior has three different leap, charge, warpath. Rogue has three different stealths all in the same slot, right? Like give them three different movement options, or even just two.
Yeah.
Um, because that is the biggest thing that keeps me from playing priest is I always say when I play a class, if I see someone and I want to fight them, I want to be able to fight them. So I will pretty strictly only play classes that can like catch people or fight them or engage on them, something like that. And I cannot be asked to play priest as a result because you're always just waddling at someone at a slower pace than
Yes.
they are,
Yep.
and they removed the ease of stacking sparks like they had last season, where at least they could always like be. And I hated that system, by the way. I did not like that system, but at least if you went into that system and stacked up sparks all the time, you could always be faster than people. And that was your gap closer. That was your movement ability.
Yeah, I'd love to see Sparks come back. To be honest, I think, but not because I think it's the best system in the world. Just because I just want something. I want some
Yes.
movement, and I
Yeah.
mean they've already that it works. It's tested. It
Yeah.
works. Even if hey,
And
the
it's
ability was you could place a spark on a cooldown to give you, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Every 10 seconds, you could put down a spark to give you that option to where you want to use your movement rather than
Yeah.
it being so randomized. And yeah, you can just spam it sort of with your other abilities, give it a little bit more finesse in how you use it, when you use it, where you place it, that sort of a thing. And I mean, players
Yeah.
can eat the sparks. They'll wear a silence for doing it, but it also gives counterplay. So it's not just a guaranteed free movability. Something like that, anyway.
Yeah. And I think one big thing in that is it feels really bad in a game as bare bones as this, to take away content and not put something in its place. So they took away priest mobility and they didn't give something else there. They
Yes.
took away Morthog and they didn't put endgame content there instead, right? So like that's something that I'm all for. If like a system's broken, like we get rid of it, that's fine. But like especially with how the game is currently structured, like every class needs a replacement if you're going to take something away.
Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. The only kind of hint they gave us with the Paladin as well was that kind of hammer throw being tied to some sort of mobility for them. Makes me think of
Yeah.
do you ever play Smite?
No, no, I did not play Smite, but I'm pretty familiar with it. Is it one of the heroes in that game has a like
Yeah, it was
mechanic like that?
Odin or Thor, I can't remember, but one of them
Hmm.
basically had the big warhammer. They would throw it out, it would, like 360 spin out and then kind of boomerang back to them. But they could reactivate it at any point to teleport to the current location of the hammer. And that's
Oh yeah.
that's the vibe I got from what they were talking about. I foresee something
Oh,
kind of like that.
that would be absolutely sick. Like
Yeah,
even whether it's a spinning option or just like it lands in the ground option or whatever it may be, if they have a throwable that they can then teleport to, that'd just be sick.
yeah,
The closest thing in the game right now is Phantom Dagger. If you throw a Phantom Dagger on an enemy, you can like keep walking away, but you can still take that teleport. And if it just it creates so many cool gameplay situations, at least in my mind, as the
yeah,
person that enjoys Sword Rogue, and I don't mind getting outplayed by someone Phantom Daggering off into the distance. Like I think that is like cool.
yeah. Even the
Um,
clone teleports, they've confused me many a
yeah,
time. They're
yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, so I think that would be a really cool direction to be going with the class, because if you keep paladin, at least in like what I think of like a paladin is like they're very slow moving, they're low mobility, they are like a beast, but like they only move at a certain pace. If you have it like that in a game like this, like no one will play that class.
Yeah, movement and yeah is pretty key in this game. If you feel
Yeah,
clunky when everyone else is flying around you, I agree. You're gonna be like, ugh, gonna go play something else.
yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, even just that small tidbit is really cool for like you clearly can see the direction they're trying to go with Paladin. So it'll be
Yes,
nice once it comes.
for sure. Uh, let's have a little chat about the witch. I was not expecting to see anything like this for a long time. Not gonna lie. To get a paladin teaser and the next class reveal all in the same day is pretty crazy.
It's interesting for sure. The one thing I will say is these devs are really good with making a roadmap and sticking to it. So them putting witch as a like, yeah, we don't know when, but at some point in 2026 there will be a witch sort of deal. I'm like, okay, yeah, I believe them, and that'll be sick. Um, Would I do that if I was in their position? Probably not. I would probably want to see, okay, how does Wizard continue to shape things up? How does then introducing Paladin shape things up? And what would be another good class that the ecosystem of this game needs? That's how I would go.
Maybe they know that
Um,
already internally.
maybe, yeah. Truly, and we don't have a shadow caster. We don't have a like dot play style, like damage over time or that sort of stuff. So those kind of initial concepts of what they're saying they want the witch to be, great. I think it will be something very cool. I just I mean, I haven't given too much thought to it myself. Really know what we'll need for this game after Paladin. So yeah, maybe the devs already have themselves, but yeah, the one thing I will say for sure is these devs make roadmaps and they stick to them. So um, definitely trust with what they're doing there.
Yeah, I worry about dots in the game. it
Mm,
it just screams more poison rogue, especially
yeah.
like transforming into a cat. Like, is this guy just gonna not wizard witch gonna pop up, throw some damage over time effect on you, turn into a cat, and run away? And are these, if it is damage over time, we don't know, but I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's stopping you from healing or something like that if you're taking ticks. Who knows? And yeah, running off as a cat, waiting for a cooldown, then coming back in, just throwing another dot, and just being super pesty. They keep going into cat, you
Yeah.
can't catch them, and they just keep throwing dots on you from the side. It just makes me think of Shadow Priests and Warlocks in Classic. Like they just dot you up and
Uh-huh.
then run, and by the time you catch them, you're dead.
Yeah, fun interactive play style, right? Like that sort of thing. Um, yeah, I think it is really safe-ish to assume that a witch will involve some sort of dot mechanic or curses, right? Like things that you think of for like a witch character in a game like this. So I think as a result, like that is something to be concerned about because I agree that it can be really frustrating in a game like this. Dagger Rogue is incredibly frustrating in a game like this. Poison, disease are frustrating mechanics without like very strong, obvious counterplays. Um, but the one thing that I will say definitively that I am feeling, having seen the Witch reveal, and this may be not agreed on by other people, is man, I do not like the idea of cat form in a game like this. Because yes, it's cool. Yeah, it's great to that person. Yeah, I'm sure, dude, I'm gonna love running around as a cat. Like that's gonna be cool. But is it fun for the other person that you're fighting? Like, is it interactive for them to play against a cat? And the only example that I can go to that I will very readily go to for this is again Dark and Darker, where they introduce Druid, is they have rat form, which is what they're describing cat to be. And people are like, yup, Dark and Darker fell off when they added Druid because it doesn't fit with the rest of the game. It is annoying. They just grab the loot and they run away. And if this game ever becomes big and lively and tens of thousands of people playing it, you can bet if streamers are fighting in the middle of the map over intense loot, there's going to be about 20 witches waiting on the side, ready to grab the loot, turn into a cat, and disappear.
Yeah.
And like everything that I've described in this like 30-second minute long rant is what I do not want to see in a game like this. Because while it sounds so cool and fun to run around as a cat, it does not sound fun to chase a cat. It sound fun to chase a cat.
Yeah, maybe it needs some sort of a wind up channel before you actually transform. Give people a chance to
Yeah.
do something to you before you just rat on out. I love that Druids had
Yeah, they
something, a rat form.
literal rat form, a literal like designed and called a rat, and people were rats. Like, so it's yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like, sure, I could be way off. Sure, it all depends on how they implement it. There are things to keep in mind for all of this, but just my initial gut reaction is like, please no, please not some annoying rat class that is going to just change the way the game works.
And I wonder, I was thinking like they said curses and hexes. it did make me think of like the Shaman X polymorph from WoW. I wonder if we're going to see a new CC of like turning people into a little frog for a few seconds or something. Or
Yeah.
I don't really know how
Um,
to read into hexes in terms of this game.
yeah. I heard I was watching back your podcast with Swan, and you guys started talking about WoW and DR, diminishing returns.
Yes.
And the current system of resilience in this game is just not what it needs to be. And I hope a concept like DR or something similar comes into place well before we get additional forms of crowd control.
Do you think they should
Because
be grouped together in sort of like subcategories, like me and Swan were talking about? Like these, stuns and roots or something were in a category, and silences and I don't know, something else.
yeah, I think that just depends on where the game is at, because something like World of Warcraft, like, well, the point of that is multiple classes have a way to apply a fear, and they all fall under the fear DR. Multiple classes have a way to apply a stun, and it all falls under the stun DR. And as it stands with this game right now, like, there's not much hard CC, which I think is how it should be in a game like this. I don't think like very point and click stuns are gonna feel good, especially in the 3v3 environment of this game. As people have seen, where a lot of 3v3s revolves around waiting for a stun and then one-shotting that person, and then
Yes.
it's over, right? So I think there's just a lot to keep in mind, and it really depends on the state of the game at the time. But yeah, if they wanted to go that route of like multiple classes having a way to apply something that contributes to just one type of DR, and you have to be very strategic to not overlap that with your teammates, it's definitely an option to go. But I can say for sure the current iteration of Resilience ain't it.
Yeah, it is a bit wonky. Not sure how I feel about it either.
It
It's
activates too late, and then there's the whole like you can block while Resilience procced, and um, yeah, there's just some weird stuff to it.
Yeah, well, that might be addressed. Patch
True,
notes. There's some interesting things with resilience and some changes there
that is true.
to see how that actually implements. I don't know if you read too much of that, the block
Yeah,
breaks and resilience and all that. A bit of some
I
changes.
did. Yeah, I think that'll largely help with what people are currently frustrated about with the system. So then it'll just be, time to see once we potentially add more crowd control, how we then need to tweak that kind of stuff more.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've just got one thing I wanted to plug before we end. But if you, is there anything else you want to touch on?
Um, no, I mean not too much. I'm personally psyched for the season tomorrow. I'm gonna be playing the hell out of this and just psyched to see some packed lobbies. The meet the devs today was pretty spot on. And yeah, just hoping now that we got farm map at least initially where we want it, we can get a nice kind of renewed focus to. Yeah, I think the areas of the game that the people that are currently playing really want. Um, so yeah, psyched for it.
Yeah, hell yeah, me too, man. Got the day off tomorrow, so I think it's a 6 a.m.
Perfect.
drop for me. So that's nice. Wake up early
Hell
and
yeah.
get right on into it. Be great.
Dude, that is perfect. That's what I like to hear.
Um, the one thing I just wanted to let everyone know as well, and yourself, and maybe you can help spread the word for me. I know the ping
Yeah.
isn't the best for you guys, but I'm going to be doing a dueling tournament again for season two. Um, Starting from the second Monday, so the first Monday is just going to be a bit of a fun, skirmy one. Starting from the second Monday, going until the ninth week, so 8 weeks. Um, there's going to be progressing kind of entry fees. Like the first few weeks, it's just like a couple marks of Stonehaven or a vendor rep items just to help people out. Like, very easy to get, but they'll
Yeah.
get divided between the top three places of the event. Um, Everyone who wins one of those first 8 tournaments as well gets an automatic ticket. And then everyone who gets a second, third, or fourth place will get points that go on a leaderboard. At the end of those 8 weeks, all 8 players who won the tournament will go into the last tournament of the season, and then 8 players with the highest points based on, if they got a couple of seconds and a third and a fourth, la di da. So there'll be 16 players for the final tournament, and I've donated $300. Another OCE bloke's donated 100, and another has donated 50. So we're up to a prize pool of 450 at the moment, cash prize for that
Jeez, dude. Y'all are
final
wild.
winner of that. So if you guys can bear the lag and you want to come over and try to win yourselves a tournament and get into that final one, there'll be some pretty big hype around it and some cash prizes to be won. I'll speak to the team, see if they're willing to chuck something cool in there as well, juice it up a little bit more.
Sure.
Maybe a god tier pack for someone to gift or something like that, or if they don't have it themselves already. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
my plan for the event for season 2. So
Hell yeah, man. Now, if I'm not participating, I'll at least be talking about it because I love it. I love what you guys did last season, even with the OC tourneys. Such good content to watch. But yeah, dude, the system you made seems very intricate and well thought out. And yeah, at a minimum, I'm psyched to watch it.
hell yeah, man, I appreciate it. Well, Memories, thanks for being here, man. It was great to have a chat with you, and hopefully we can do this again in a couple of months' time and talk about where we're at in the future.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's been real fun. I'll definitely be seeing you in the coming weeks here. And yeah, thank you again for setting this up, dude. I'm honored.
Not a problem at all, man. Good luck in your first few days, and I hope you have a blast. And maybe I will jump over for some. You're on east. I'd go west, but might not see you.
I
But
play yeah, I play every server. Don't you worry. My home server's east, but I'll be anywhere there's players.
maybe I'll see you over in OCE.
Yeah. Potentially, you won't expect it, but you might.
All good, man. Well, thank you very much, and we'll chat soon.
Talk to you soon, man. Thank you.
Cheers, bro.